here with Carlton Hargro, editor, writer, and comic book aficionado.
That's right.
Carlton has several projects that we're going to talk about today.
Lots of projects.
We're going to start with your Kickstarter project. Tell us what your project is.
Okay. Well, the Kickstarter project is, I don't know if people are familiar with Kickstarter. It's a crowdfunding website that allows people to get projects funded by friends, family, anybody who may want to donate money to the project. So anyway, I'm doing a comic book. It's actually called the African American Superhero Anthology, and it's done by myself and a bunch of different artists and writers from locally and from around the country. And we're doing this project, and right now we're just raising funds on Kickstarter. We launched a few days ago, and actually it's going really good so far. We have raised about $530 so far in 3 days, which is big. We're only trying to get $3,000. So far we've really gone crazy. And one of the big things that helped out today was this big time comic book writer named Jimmy Palmiotti. I tweeted him just off the cuff. I said, hey, let me tell you about my project. And he retweeted me to his 13,000 followers. And I jumped about 100 books, and about 30 minutes after that. Not only that, but I just got in touch. Somebody who did a Kickstarter project a few months ago that got a lot of press. It's a comic book called Woman Anthology or something like that. Woman Anthology, and it's a comic book anthology for female creators. They a few months ago tried to raise $25,000. They instead got $109,000 and got a publishing deal through this company called IDW. They just emailed me and gave me a bunch of tips from their own personal experience, and they donated. So the fact that I'm on their radar right there tells me that we're on the right track. So I'm actually going to incorporate some of the things they suggested, but I feel very good about it. And I don't feel good about a lot of things. Created by me and some of the artists. In fact, like I'm working with Marcus Kaiser and John Harrison locally, and what I did was I went to them and said, hey, I want to make up a character with you, and so we sat down and we created the character. Should I look at the camera or should I look at you? The camera. Hey, camera. So we sat down and I said, hey, let's create this character together, and I based the character on the things that they like to draw and the things that I've seen that they can draw well. So John Harrison's character is very much like a John Harrison character, and Marcus's character is very much like a Marcus character. So these are brand new characters. Actually, one character is not so new, but is a character I created in 1994, who I actually published a comic book about in 90. I used to publish comic books in the mid-90s. And so I'm bringing this character back, and her name is Isis.
So the Kickstarter website is?
Well, just go to Kickstarter, because I don't know, the URL is really long. Just go to Kickstarter and look up the African American Superhero Anthology. Or you can go to my Facebook page. My name is Carlton Hargro, Hargro, and look up, you'll see, I put links all over the page. But if you go to Kickstarter and look up the African American Superhero Anthology, it'll pull it up.
Why are you such a strong advocate for putting the African American comic book characters out there?
Well, what I really believe, and I think you see this now, is that so much media in America right now comes from comic books. Movies like The Avengers and Spider-Man, but even movies like Road to Perdition and History of Violence, Ghost World, all these things were comic books. Back in the day, they used to go to books to get, they would adapt books into movies and things, but now they use comic books. So comic books really get adapted into lots of different types of media. Look at The Walking Dead right now. It's all over television. It used to be a comic book. And so I see that comic books are a great breeding ground for what then will later become entertainment all over in different platforms. And I feel like there are not enough African Americans in the media, number one. There are not enough good portrayals of us in the media. And this is a way to create some African American characters from the ground up that we can control and that later get exploited in other media. So that's what I'm really trying to do. I'm really trying to diversify African Americans in the media, and I think comic books is a cheap way to do it. Plus, I love comic books as a medium personally. if it never got turned into a movie, I wouldn't really care. But I know how these things work, and it may take years and years, but you'll see it all over the place. But I've been reading comic books since I was 5 years old. I have 10,000 comic books in my apartment right now, and I'm both proud and ashamed to say that, and that's it.
So speaking of black in movies,
Right.
let's talk about the Black
yeah.
Exploitation Film
So
Festival.
I got
that's coming up.
this black exploitation film series that we're starting on May 8th. It's called Sweet, SWEET exclamation point. Sweet is the black exploitation film series. Something I wanted to do for a long time, and finally we found a venue to do it. We're doing it at the Evening Muse. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a night of music where you come in. There'll be music playing from the movie or from that era. Then we'll play the movie. We'll do trivia. It's going to be fun. But we're going to really focus on showing movies from the black exploitation era, particularly movies that are insane, such as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Black, Truck Turner, Dolomite movies. Just like really, we're going to celebrate the terrible, the worst, the so bad they're good black exploitation movies. So you won't see any. If it was good, you probably won't see it at Sweet. We're gonna focus on the really so bad they're good movies, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's our chance to really celebrate and revel in this cult, crazy crap.
Well, don't you think that the quote unquote black exploitation movie is now what the kind of blueprint for Hollywood big action movies?
Right, yeah, and I think we talked about this before. When the movie industry was in trouble, they said, let's churn out all these little cheap movies and give them to an audience that doesn't have any movies. And they did that. And I mean, to a certain extent, you can kind of say Tyler Perry is making black exploitation movies. I mean, they're not filled with violence and stuff, but, they exploit a particular group, church folk. And, it is what it is. Whatever makes money. One day we'll be looking at those movies. Well, I'm already looking at his movies and laughing. But one day you'll really be looking at those movies laughing. But I don't take nothing from Tyler Perry. The one thing I say about Tyler Perry, he knows his audience. He gives them what they want. And he serves an audience where nobody was serving them before. That's what we're trying to do with the anthology. And that's what we're trying to do with the movie series.
In the movie series, what's the cost of it?
$7. And it's going to be on a Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday of every month. And, this place serves alcohol, so you can get drunk and watch these movies and enjoy them as they should be, with a group of friends laughing and just having a good time. So go to the Evening Muse website, which I think is eveningmuse.com. And, you get all the information about where and all that stuff there.
And if people want to keep up with your exploits and everything that you're doing, how can they follow you?
Go to my Facebook page or go to Twitter. Let me just mention this too. Sukasa, the party we do every month. We do it at Dharma Lounge. Different days, always on a Friday. You can go to Dharma, Dharma Charlotte, I think is the site, dharmacharlotte.com, and find out more about that. Sukasa is Afrobeat, house, funk. So we play everything nobody else will play, and we do it in a real creative atmosphere. The other thing is we're going to start doing a second Sukasa every month. It's going to be on a Sunday. It's going to be a day party from 2 to 6. It's going to be sort of like a jazz brunch minus the brunch, add crack.
And Carlton, can you tell everybody where you're from?
Gary, Indiana. This hometown of Blackula. Gary, Indiana.
Thank you.
And Michael Jackson.